All right, I think I'm good to go. Almost. Yay! Weekly call. Using the Zoom link. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. How is everyone today? Good? All right. So before we kick off the call, I want to hear how everything is going. I really want to hear how your week is going. I want to hear how marketing for a challenge group is going. I want to hear how the invitations are going for the coaching opportunity, because today I have a couple things to cover on my end, but I want to use this time for you too. So tell me where you are with everything, and you can feel free to unmute. You can celebrate any victories. I know I see Elizabeth in the chat bar. She's having a conversation with someone about coaching. Where are we with everything right now? So just make sure, don't feel like awkward, like totally unmute. It's all good. I just want to be here to help you guys out. Anyone want to talk?
I can go. It's Kate here.
Hi, Kate.
So yeah, things are going good. I feel like I'm planned. Like yesterday I spent most of the day planning out like my social media calendar for the week. So I know I get on in the mornings right away and I show my morning routine, and then I always have like a little something like a helpful tip or something. So this week I'm focusing on anxiety, and I have that laid out. I've been working on like just connecting versus, I'd say, over inviting. Like I'm not just sending. I used to just send like a cold invite, and I just didn't have any really luck with that. So now I'm more or less like just as if I were to see you in person, kind of like a connection that way.
Okay.
So I'm connecting versus inviting, and then I'm having more luck where people are asking me like, oh, what are you doing? What are you working on? Or how are you doing things holistically? So I'm having some good luck there. Let's see. Yeah. So just planning. I think planning ahead has helped me tremendously, because usually I'd wake up in the morning and not have any clue what I'm going to talk about. And that gave me so much anxiety. So preparing that, like even the night before, has just helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and we're going to actually touch on that for a couple minutes too. We're going to talk about just the importance of having your tracker and going in and simplifying your life whenever you have a plan in place, especially when it comes to what you are talking about. And one thing you said, Kate, that I just kind of want to sort of review for a second is you said you've been connecting over inviting. So can you walk us through what that means, what that looks like?
Yeah, so I'm trying to, like, I'll go to people that follow me. I'll go to their page and I'll go through like a post they've recently done. And instead of like, just like, oh, you look great, like I'm actually trying to like add value or like comment on like something they're talking about. Like, let's just say it's like anxiety. Like I'll be like, oh, this helped me or something like that. Trying to start an actual conversation and then go that way and like build a friendship over just like, hey, do you want to join my team? Because nobody is responding to me when I say that. Like, it's like, I think they're getting like, whoa, like the wall goes up, like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? So I'm trying to like build an actual connection. And then if I can add value somewhere, then I chime in with, this is what I'm working on. My accountability group has helped me with this, this, and this, instead of just word vomit, like join my team.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think that's so relevant too. And actually in my own tracker, part of my daily activities are actually to make sure that I am like direct connecting and social media engaging. So direct connecting is any time for me that I am directly responding to or communicating with someone. That might be through a post where we're kind of going back and forth. It might be through a personal message to someone. It might be just something that I share on someone's timeline because it made me think of them. Where I put social engage, that's when people come to my front, like something that I have posted, and they leave a comment. I always make sure that I go out of my way to comment back, to them. And this isn't necessarily just about, just what I do as a coach. A lot of times these are just posts that I do in general where someone has engaged with me in some way. I want to make sure that they know that I want to connect back with them. And this, I find, makes the actual invitation process easier. So, Kate, one thing that you mentioned was that connection is happening and you're really enjoying that. I will say that as connections get stronger and you get more used to communicating with people and talking to people via social media, and you're like going out of your way to just form relationships with people in general, just kindness, and just, having fun with it a little bit, the easier the invitation becomes. So a lot of times my invitations come after I've made something called eye contact with them. And so for me, what eye contact means is if I've created some type of post that is maybe about body image, or maybe it's a recipe, or maybe it is just talking about confidence, or it's something that I know connects back to what I do as a coach, I do invite them. So I will say something very natural like this. And we want to make sure that when we're saying this, we kind of find our own words for it. But when I say it, it sounds something like, hey, I noticed that you actually liked my post where I was showing like my belly in the mirror. And girl, I just have to tell you, the jeans, LOL, they fit again. But I actually wanted to take it a step further and ask you if you were just being super sweet and giving me a shout out and rooting for me in my post, or if this was something you too wanted to get to know more about. Was this something that you maybe wanted more information about? Either way, let me know, and thank you so much for just like rooting for me. And what happens is, because they have just engaged or they've commented and I've already connected with them before, it's just becoming easier for me to make that bold connection and that bold invitation when that time is right. So if you find yourself in the place where you're like, okay, I'm authentically connecting with people, I really feel good about this, and you do put that post out that isn't necessarily a direct invitation to a challenge group, but maybe about body image or confidence or, what you're doing as a coach, if somebody's liking it or commenting on it or engaging on it, that's your role to come in and say, okay, it's time for me to just invite them, because that's my job. Because it's just my job to do that. So I love that you sort of said, I had to take a step back from the cold invites, and I just had to kind of reevaluate them. So now that we've done that, we can kind of go back and say, if I'm already forming connections with people, it's okay to ask for the invitation. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Katie says, and I'm reading from the chat bar too. Katie says, I'm at work, so I can't unmute, but I'm struggling with planning my posts. I'm still timid to invite, but my goal is 10 invitations or connections a day. I love that goal. So what I will share with you is how I work backwards. So I think I've shared this before, but I use the Rise Up Planner. So this Rise Up Planner is basically the same as what many people use in the Coach Online office, but it's all kind of in one place for me. So what I do is I think to myself, okay, on Sunday, when I look back at my week, where do I want to be? Like, what is my ultimate goal? So I have my goal marked down. Let's say that I want to have my 3 need challengers for my challenge group. And right now, for all of us, that's probably where we are, because we're all getting ready to either invite to our own challenge group, or we're going to be doing a challenge group with our upline, whether it's me, it's Megan, or it's Melanie. So whatever it might be, at the end of this week, you should have a set goal. Then once I create that set goal, I work myself back into that goal. So let me give you an example. I know at the end of this week, I want to have 5 new clients. So I also know I'm doing a coach sneak peek. So I know I have 2 things going on. If right now you know what your goal is by the end of the week, it should be written down in paper. So let's say that our goal is to have 3 new challengers. I know that the rule is 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 is very likely going to say yes. So when I use those numbers, I say, okay, I want 3 new challengers by the end of this week. That means at least 30 invitations have to go out. So what does that look like? Well, I know that I want to make sure that I am marketing it in some way, but I don't want to come off as salesy. So my goal is maybe to only have 2 posts that are really those calls to act. But every day in my stories on IG, I am going to put a jab out there about the upcoming group. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to say, all right, well, what are the benefits of this group? What is happening in this group? What are people going to benefit? What problem am I solving with this group? So I might say, maybe people are like, they're nervous about joining because they don't know how long the workouts are. So I know I'm going to address that problem in my stories. Maybe people are worried because they're like they're not sure what the nutrition looks like. They think it's going to be really, really complicated and really expensive. So I'm going to walk them through like what I love about our simplified nutrition is it's real food. You can shop at Aldi's and see amazing results. So I just brainstorm all of the insecurities or struggles or worries that people might have about working out. It might be like, I really, really love working out at the gym. Well, this is the perfect group for people who love the gym because we're focused first on nutrition and you can take your workouts to the gym with you. So I just, in my head, I brainstorm all of those potential concerns or objections or maybe problems that my clients that I'm speaking to might be having. And so when I think about that, I create content around that. All right. So that goes in my stories. Every day, I'm going to be jabbing out the Jane's Challenge. So when you go to IG or you go to my Facebook stories, you will see jabs every day about my group. And I'll ask people for either their email or DM me for more information. Okay. Now my content, on the other hand, that's like my magazine cover. So that's a little bit more like light and fun. And that's not necessarily going to be like, boom, join my group. I want people to know me. So I am going to talk about just common concerns or problems or issues I have had before I became a challenger. So my challenge group is about jeans and being comfortable in your jeans. So I'm going to talk a lot about doing the denim dance. I'm going to talk about how the awkward dance you have to do when you're trying to fit into your jeans. I might show a before and after picture. I might do my Transformation Tuesday picture where I show a side-by-side of me before I started and then me after, but then I'll do a swipe option where people get to see some of my own challengers or challengers that are in your current group who are rocking it so they can swipe to see more of it. And so I am going to talk also about body image. I'm going to be talking about being like a really happy wife, and I am satisfied, and I'm like, that's my brand. I'm satisfied as a wife because I'm taking care of me. So I'm going to use these often very common concerns that people have or worries or struggles that they have, and I'm going to create content that's going to lead them back. Now, because I said not every post I do is going to be a direct call to act, I'm going to tell them where they can go if that's not where my call to act is. So if you recall, if I'm doing a post and it's going to be, maybe it's a funny meme about like skinny jeans season, right? So I do this meme and it's just really funny. But there's not like a direct call to act. I might tell people to go to my stories to see more funny memes. But guess what else is in there? My Jean Dance Challenge, information about my upcoming challenge group. So I'm very, very strategic about the way I do this. But we don't have to overthink this. Sometimes the very, very start of a successful group is going to be you reaching out to the people that you have already had conversations with about what you're currently doing Or maybe before they even knew you were a coach, maybe these were the people you would meet at the water cooler and you guys would talk about how many points you've been tracking for Weight Watchers. A lot of times your best clients are the ones who are right in front of you that you just need to have a conversation with. And I want you to know, like even now, I've been doing this for 7 years, and not every month is necessarily rainbows and butterflies. Not everyone just knocks down my door and says, all right, I'm ready to do the denim dance. Some months I have to really go above and beyond. So on Wednesday, I am actually going and meeting a woman who lives, whose son goes to kindergarten with my son. I'm meeting her because she just has so many questions. And she's very concerned if it's the right fit. And she's done the diets and she's done all of it. And so I said, you know what, why don't we just meet up for coffee and I can really explain to you what this is all about. I know without a doubt I'm going to close that sale because I took time out to really explain it to her, and I won't leave that conversation without actually signing her up. So ask yourself, who are the people that not necessarily I need to build a following to find, but the people who are right in front of us? Who are those people? And you have to remember too, some people have maybe had experiences with Beachbody, but they never experienced you as their mentor through it. You, the person who's going to be working with them, in the trenches with them as they're starting this journey. So we have to just keep those people in consideration too, all right? Okay, so let me go over these questions too, so I'm doing well. I have 2 people from yesterday that made my challenge pack. This is my first week working my business. This is all very new to me. Marla, way to go. That's really exciting. I've been doing that and people respond. Last time you mentioned that, so I applied. It's really good. I'm so glad. I have a question since you're here. I'm here. To be a coach, do you need a minimum purchase each month to sell, or does that $15 a month do it? So to be an active coach, you have to have an active order. And by active order, that means that you have either 50 PV or 90 PV. 90 PV is what will allow you to receive leads when you hit Success Club and actually, quote unquote, achieve Success Club. So you have to have your own order of either Shakeology or the Performance line. With that being said, when people ask, if it's somebody who wants to be a working coach, it would be really hard to work the business if you weren't using the product. So for me, in I think it's been 7 years, I've never gone off of Shakeology. It comes out of my account every month. I don't ever think of not getting it because it's just, so it just comes out of my account every month. So Elizabeth, if this girl sells Monet, so I think she's interested. If she's interested in the coaching side of what we do or just receiving the discount, I would just make sure you kind of clarify with her what her intentions are. Because even if she just wants the discount on the product, but she's not going to be using it all the time, she won't necessarily keep an active status as a coach. So, yeah. So I made a few Facebook posts, but I am not finding others commenting, liking on posts. Is there something else I should do? So aside from not being able to like look at your content right now, my question is, are you calling them to invite or calling them to engage with you? So ask yourself, did the post I put out actually, did it make them want to comment? Did it make them want to engage? Did I give them permission to engage? And if they haven't, you're going to want to play around with maybe putting some content out there where they can. So if you did ask them to leave an emoji, if you put text first, but then you didn't actually call them to engage until the very, very end, if they didn't read that whole block of stuff, chances are they maybe just didn't see it. When you guys pop on, can you do me a favor and actually mute your lines just because it gets kind of like stuffy? Got you, Catherine. All right. So I would just play around with it. Sometimes those calls to act, especially where you're asking someone to engage, sometimes they need bumped up to the top. So it should be more of your tagline than like the end line. So it should be more of an intro than an outro, if that makes sense. Just play around with it. Also, sometimes it's time of day for posts. It's the content you post. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for it. I do both because that gives value. I do it on the top. I find that too. Okay. I'm struggling so much at the minute to even fit in 20 to 30 minutes per day for your workout. I'm really burning myself out with everything else going on in my life. I can't fill out the tracker all the way, though every day I'm trying to do as best as I can, but I feel like I can't follow up with people and things are really unorganized. Really want to make this work, but struggling. Need some inspiration to keep going. So Lizzie, I don't know if I'm going to be giving you inspiration as much as I'm going to give you some serious truth talk right now. So there's two things that you said. Number one, you are not filling out the tracker every day, but I'm trying to do the best I can. But you're saying that you're unorganized. So really there are two things. I think you're probably burned out because you're not organized, which means on the front end, we got to get you organized. Because once you start to get organized, the activities that are taking you so long to do don't take you nearly as long to do. So just honest to God truth talk. I want you to know that I am speaking from the perspective of somebody who started this business working full time. I was a middle school teacher. My son was 2. He was in daycare throughout the day. When I got home, I was making dinners, and then I did my work in the evening. And I never really looked at it as a like I'm just burned out and I'm tired and this is hard. I really just stuck to what the activities were that I needed to do on any one given day to be able to get to where I wanted to go. And I feel like people get really, really overwhelmed when they're like looking around at all of the things instead of just rooting themselves in the basics of what can I do today to move my business forward, right? So even as a teacher, I taught 8 periods a day. And when I was teaching, I didn't sit there and think about like all of the other things that I needed to do. I had to sit and be in the moment of, I need to work on what period A needs to get done. I'm gonna start with our daily warm-up, and then I'm gonna go into covering the objectives for the day, and then I'm gonna go into the lesson for the day, and then I'm gonna do the breakouts of the day, and then once I'm done with the breakouts, we're gonna do our closing, and then we're gonna do our assignment. And I would always just focus on the small, seemingly insignificant steps right in front of us. You see, we only get overwhelmed when we sit down and we go, oh my God, I got so much information. I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know where to start. And so I'm not even gonna look at my tracker. Because if we just looked at our tracker, we would say, okay, what do I need to do? Number one, I need to get my workout done. I'm gonna go down to the basement and I'm gonna do my workout, and that is it. Check, off the box. Number 2, I am going to directly connect with somebody on social media. Perfect. I'm going to go onto IG. There's 3 accounts on IG that I absolutely love, and I am going to either shout them out on my social media, or I am going to talk to them, or I'm going to tell them how awesome they are doing at life and how much I respect them, and that I just can't wait to connect with them. I don't care, whatever it might be. Then it's check, off the box, done. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get engaged with the people who have already engaged on my social media. Perfect. Then I'm going to do my post for the day. Check, 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 check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. We just focus on the small steps. When we get overwhelmed, it's because we're trying to do all of the things. Don't try to do all the things. We don't need to do all the things. We don't. We just need to do the one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And I'm saying this because it's possible. But really, it's because we're just looking at everything that we need to do instead of the one thing that we need to do today. So I want to encourage you to take one big step back in your business, okay? And then I want you to say, all right, what's that one thing today? What's this one thing right this minute today? And then once you focus on that one thing today, then you focus on the next. That is how you build a big, successful business. It's not like these lump sum huge things. It's these small, seemingly insignificant things you do every day, the consistent, the mundane, the often overlooked things that no one is like fist bumping for you, okay? That's where we get success. I hope that helps, but that's my inspiration for you. And that is also me saying, I love you guys so much. And I know that this business is possible. And I know it's possible because I'm sitting here like going, listen, just small steps, just small steps. Do your workout, share your workout, invite other people to what we do, and shout them out when they're rocking it, and shout yourself out when you're rocking it. Guys, this business has been built through some of the hardest times in my life. So when people tell me that they're overwhelmed, that's an easy solution. That is just take a step back and ask yourself, what is the one thing that I can do today to move my business forward? That's it. Every time you do that, it's not overwhelmed. You are abundantly blessed to be part of the top organization in the entire network. You are abundantly blessed to be learning from some of the best in the business. You are abundantly blessed that you know when you're overwhelmed, all you need to do is take a step back and do one thing that will move your business forward. I love you guys so much. I just had to share that piece of it, okay? Okay, you're so welcome, Lizzie. Sometimes I get all anxious, like my armpits be sweating right now because I was like, I don't want anyone to be offended. But the truth is, you can totally do it. But when you say I'm overwhelmed, that's a choice. So now that we know I'm not overwhelmed, I'm abundantly blessed, I'm gonna do one thing. That's all you need to do every single time you get overwhelmed. There's just one thing I need to do to like rock my business, that's all. Okie dokie. All right, like, shares, to keep, tag a friend that likes burritos, or so on. I'm not sure what that means, but I like burritos. I did have a question about the promo MM100. Okay, I guess I never received this. Oh, Katie, look in your, if you look in your spam. Mine was all in my spam, my September's. But remember too, it's based on how you did the month before. So you're receiving the number based on how many Success Club you got, right? I think that's how it went. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So if you aren't sure you got it, you need to contact Coach Relations and ask them if an email was sent, because you should have gotten that. One box at a time, one box at a time. My phone is full of alarms. See, Angie, I don't like to keep my phone full of alarms because it makes me spaz out. And then I go, oh my God, I got all the things to do, and I don't want to do that. So I honestly just keep this bad boy right on my desk. I like keep this right on my desk, and it's just check it off. Check it off. And then I don't get mad if I don't finish something. So like last week, I didn't do great last week. So instead of getting mad, I said, all right, well, how can I be more effective with my time this week? So if the alarm system works for you, that's cool. Keep going with that. But if it doesn't, just reevaluate and say, all right, what feels good to me? And go with that, okay? Block scheduling has been best for me, really good. Setting timers. If I'm in the middle of like doing follow-ups, I do set a timer. It's just like this little ladybug timer I have on my desk. I do use that when I'm doing those follow-ups. You hear that? I love how you break that down. I just need to take a step back. Totally. For the videos or posts, Katie. Oh, yeah. Helen, I got you now. Okay. Well, maybe that is why I didn't get any more. That's probably why you didn't get any more, yeah. Advanced question, but when you're signing up a coach who's active and they go on the weak leg or the one that's empty, and the other one that's just doing it for the discount on the strong leg, so I would have one on both sides. Or working, I mean. Yeah, you want to have one coach on your left, one coach on your right. One coach on the weak, one coach on the strong. If you have a building like upline and your upline is building one of those sides right alongside you, that's your strong leg. My suggestion to you would be to put that discount coach on your strong leg, your working coach on your weak leg. Do you transfer the back activities into your book, or do you use the planner? I just use the planner. It's totally preference though. I just find that's what works for me, and I take it everywhere I go. It's like, remember that toy back in the 80s? I'm really showing my age, like my buddy, like wherever I go, it's my back. All right, working leg. Okay, discount. That's what I would do, Elizabeth. Working, weak leg, discount, strong leg. I don't know if that's your left or your right, but yes. Is there a way for others to share how they set up their Rise Up planner? Yeah, Tracy, there was a Dream Team call that was done, I want to say like maybe a month ago. If you go into the Dream Team files, you'll be able to find that Rise Up call. Moira actually walks people through like the Rise Up planner. She did a great job with it. I got them for August because I had 2 Success Clubs, so that's why. So I can't promote. But Katie, this is where you can get creative, because even if you want to be able to give $10 off, give them a $10 Amazon gift card. Totally. Like if you really want to do a $10 promo, even if it's not $10 off the product, you could totally do like a $10 off with an Amazon gift card. Or not $10 off, like a $10 Amazon gift card. Totally. And you can switch where they go. You have 5 days, Elizabeth, back to the weak leg, strong lung. You have 5 days after they purchase to make your final moves. If you only have 2 coaches that are disc codes, no, I put one on one leg, one on the other. You want to go emerald. You cannot go emerald if they're on the same leg. One on the weak, one on the strong. Doesn't matter how it goes, but you want one on each side. If you know that they're both discount, it really doesn't matter. Just put one on the weak, one on the strong. Okay. Perfect. Oh, perfect. So yeah, you would just set preferred placements, or you go to coachfaq.com and then you would click on coach placement, and then it would be genealogy requests. And you have 5 days. You just have 5 days after they sign up to get people moved around. All right. I love you all. Okay. So let me see. What else am I going over right now? What do I got up in this grill? So we talked about your questions, challenge group deadline. We're going to cover that. We know that our goal as new coaches is minimum. And by benchmark, I mean minimum, like the lowest we want to do is at least 3 new people that we get into our challenge group. Follow the rule of 1 in 10. If you're inviting 10 people, like truly inviting, having conversations with 10 people, 1 of those 10 is going to say yes. So that's just kind of the average of how it works. So if you know I am going to have 3 new people in this challenge group, we know that that's going to look like 30 invitations. All right. So a couple challenges for you. Now I told you, like, market your week out. Think about what you're inviting them to. What specifically are they going to get from this group? And then you market out what your social media is going to be for the week. So I know that I want to help women feel really, really confident in their denims. So I go over, well, I know after summer, those denim jeans like aren't fitting right. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how you are going to lose an average of 2 pounds a week. I'm going to talk about how we're going to have really those fall favorite sort of recipes that are fun to eat and simple. I'm going to talk about being really busy and on the go, and how some nights that crock pot is going to be my bestie, and I'm going to teach you how to make it your bestie too. So I'm going to work through all of these conversations on my social media. So once I have that in mind, I set that goal for myself. How many new challengers do I want? Once you have that number, you want to start having those conversations with people through social media, the people that you know love you and who are going to support you, the people you have maybe done every diet under the sun with, the people you know who have been looking for a solution, your spouse, your cousin, your sister, your mom. Those are all people that you have that blessing to be able to support in your challenge group. Let's make sure we aren't overlooking those people first, because those people can totally rock your challenge groups, all right? Okay, but I also want to talk to you. We know that for me, and Megan and Melanie are kind of the same. Our challenge group starts preseason on Monday, but for me, I usually let people come into the challenge group until about next Wednesday. So set yourself a deadline. Set yourself a deadline of like Sunday. Just knowing there's a wee bit extra like wiggle room if it doesn't happen by then. But really set that. Say Sunday, I will have 3 challengers. Write it on your mirror. Give yourself a sticky note. You set it as your affirmation every morning that you will have totally 3 challengers in this group. You're so pumped because you're going to help 5 challengers in this challenge group. You cannot wait to help your mom, your cousin, your aunt, whoever it might be, with this challenge group. You know it's going to totally change their life. When you're confident about it, it becomes like easier to talk about it, right? Okay, so let's talk about, let's talk about like objections. Let's just go there. Also, has anyone been objected? Like rejected? Like if I tattooed reject on your forehead, would you be like, I own it? Like that's totally where I am? Anyone? Because I've been rejected so many times, I've lost count. It's like me being that awkward 7th grader that nobody wants to dance with sometimes. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, so if you are getting objected, you are inviting enough people. Dude, you don't hate objection. You love rejection because rejection is simply opportunity to get better. It's simply an opportunity for people to watch you do your thing, help other people rock results, and then come back to you and you can be like, I told you so. It's so fun. And I kind of do it in a sarcastic way that's like, oh, I told you so. I'm so excited for you, right? But you get to say, I told you so, because they're going to be back because you're the real deal and you know what you have for people works and it's effective and you're excited about it, right? So money objections, all of that, everything. We're going to cover that. So I only have 20 minutes and I want you to know, I'm going to actually make sure that this is in the file section, but I'm going to give you sort of just how we're going to handle some of these objections. So let's get excited about being objected. I love it. I love it so much. All right. Let's start it up here. Okay. Let's talk about the objections that we are going to be receiving as coaches. So whether this is in a challenge group or people who are interested in coaching. So first of all, an objection isn't really like just rejection. It is about needing more information. When we shift our focus, when we shift our mindset from being rejected to being like excited about sharing more information, there's this pressure that's sort of alleviated. So when you approach it, you want to think about like going from why into making sure you're sharing what's in it for them. So let's say that we're getting some like objections, right? Instead of saying like, okay, I understand, our first step is to dig deeper, right? So we got to pull a Shaun T here and we have to actually dig deeper into why they responded that way. Because the more questions that we are going to ask, the less likely their objection is going to be valid in the future. So first thing we want to ask people is, what do you mean by that? Simple. What do you mean by that? You can use it anywhere. I don't have time. I only work out in the gym. It's too expensive, or anything. Instead of, oh, okay, ask them, clarify. Well, what do you mean by that? Even if it's like to you, you're like, well, it's super obvious. They don't have enough money. No. Well, what do you mean by that? If somebody says it's too expensive, what do you mean by that? And then they're like, well, it's just too much money. Right, but what do you mean by that? Like, what part of it is too much money? Like, what is it that you maybe are feeling like is just too much? When you push for clarifying the answer, it makes them think more about the objection that they're giving you, okay? So once you've asked them a clarifying question, like, what do you mean by that? You are going to use the following phrases. I know exactly how you feel. I felt that way too. Here's what I have found. That is going to connect you with your potential consumer or your potential coach, your potential client, because you are putting yourself in their realm. You're allowing yourself to connect with them on a deeper level. And then step 3 is to really end with a question. Every time I am working on closing that sale, I ask them for one more question. This is going to prompt them to respond. So, excuse me, you know where they stand on moving forward, or if they have any more questions as well. So this is my approach when it comes to objections, and I want to walk you through what this might look like, okay? So first of all, these are just with coaches, but I want you to know you could use this same thing with a challenger. Like if someone says to you, I really don't have time, the first thing I would ask is, well, what do you mean by that? Or how much time do you actually think it does take to become a coach? And do you know what most people respond? I don't know. Their response is usually, I don't know. I really don't know, especially when it comes to time. They don't know how much time it's going to take. They look at you and they think they build up this story of how much work it is, how much time it's going to take, how they can't, and they have built up objections long before you ever even ask them the question. So when I go into this, I look at this and say, all right, well, what do you mean by that? Well, how much time do you think it does actually take to become a coach? And then allow them to answer. And then create an answer that feels authentic to you. So if you look at this one, let me take a sip because I'm like all kinds of fired up because I really like talking to you guys. Well, great. Maybe it takes like 10, 20 hours. I don't know, it takes 600 hours a week, whatever. Well, I'm actually looking for busy people because I feel like busy people get stuff done. I say this all the time. I don't want people on my team who are like not workers. Like I really like working with workers, right? So before I signed up, I wasn't sure how I was going to fit it in, but most of the coaches on my team worked in a very part-time hours around everything else on our plates. Now, it does require consistent effort and working it into your daily life. And let's be honest, we can always find time for the things that are a priority, whether it's building a business or watching our show on Netflix. So I know you're telling me that you want, so I kind of like go over what they've told me in the past they wanted to be able to achieve. And I'm telling you that in 1 to 2 hours a day of focused effort, I really firmly believe you can achieve that. And then I usually end that with a response. Like, does that make sense? And then I wait for their response. And then if it's something like what I'm interested in learning is whether you think you have time for this. So I would go back to their why again. Are you willing to invest that time in reaching your goals with coaching? So this gives you the opportunity to see if they're ready for more information or if they're not. So again, clarifying question, what I have felt, and then an additional question that leaves it open to continue the conversation. Just going to repeat that one more time. Clarifying question, then it goes into, I remember feeling that way. Here's how, or how I felt. I know what you mean. I felt that way too. Here's what I have found. Then we close it up with another question. And the reason we close it up with another question is because it allows us to keep that conversation going. All right? Let me give you like maybe one other example. And I'm giving this to all of you guys. Okay. So let's say you're inviting someone to coaching that you think would be an amazing coach. And they say, you know what? No, I'm like really not a salesperson. And then my clarifying question to them, well, what do you mean by that? I always ask, what do you mean by that? Because people never know what they mean by that. And so I love this. Well, if they say, well, you know, like, I feel like you would have to, you know, sell to all your friends and your family and your dog. And you know, like you would have to sell your right arm to actually make sale. I would say something like, I have never once thought this felt like sales because I really actually use the products and I've seen great results with it. And honestly, I'm not really interested in working with salespeople. I want to work with people who love the product and who want to genuinely like build connections and not worry so much about selling. I can teach you how to present and brand yourself on social media so you inspire people instead of being like, I bleed beach body blue. Does this sound like what you're looking for? Again, I opened it with a clarifying question. I go over, I know what you mean. I remember feeling the same way. Here is what I have found. And I close it out with another question for them as well. All right? So there are more in here. Follow-ups then become your next step. So if for some reason you haven't heard back from people, they haven't really gone over, like they haven't gotten back to you on the information, let's make sure we wait a couple days and follow up. So I usually just start a very general follow-up that starts with this. Dude, I am so sorry. I've been so swamped getting people prepped for, our coach call or like getting them set up with their first sales. I legit dropped the ball and forgot to message you back. So are you ready to do this? I assume the sale. I just legit assume the sale. And then if I don't hear back from them or I get a ghoster, I would say, hey, no worries. I kind of sense some hesitation. If you don't mind my asking, is there something that I said that perhaps offended you or concerned you? And if I don't hear back, yeah, I don't really care. I don't mean to mean, but I love people and I'll still connect with you. And if you ask me questions in the future, I'll get back to you. But like, here's my train. It's choo-chooing on down those, that like way, what are they called? The tracks. And if you're not on the train, it's okay. It's okay, because I'm still going to move forward, but maybe at the next stop, I'll pick you up if you're interested. Or a decliner. If somebody says not right now, I say, perfect. Do you mind if I just check back in with you in a few months? Everybody says absolutely. Everybody says it. And then you just put it on the list of people to follow up with in a few months. And that's it. So whenever you're unsure or of whatever it might be, or you get asked about the most, if you don't believe you have the experience necessary to like share that compelling content, then your prospects will tell you that they don't think they have what it takes. So make sure you answer your own objections too. So you have that posture and that confidence whatever objections come your way. So if it's a mental thing, like if you're in your own way, the first thing that you need to do is you need to full out be like, move, get out the way, get out the way. Like you just need to sing it to yourself. Every time you're like, I can't start, like, I'm so busy and I'm overwhelmed. You'll be like, no, totally got this. And once you squash your objections, you start just talking about it more confidently because you're like, I totally got this. This is not hard. You're like, I just get to share what I love with other people as well. All right, so now let's play Who Has Questions for Me? Anyone? This is me slow jogging towards your questions. Or not. It's fine. If you don't have questions, it is okay. But I'm going to reiterate a couple things that I really, really want to go over. Well, if it doesn't happen, Lizzie, you just keep going on with your bad self. You're just like, all right, I'm going to keep going. Because what we need to start getting, and even in the Slight Edge, that we teach this, we talk about this, is all that success is. When you look at Melanie or me or Megan, all that it is a series of a ton of failures that we just keep getting back up from. Like I've been objected and rejected more times than I can even count. Like so many times, but I just keep getting back up. So Lizzie, to answer your question is, number one, your affirmation is, I am closing these sales. I am gonna rock this challenge group. I'm gonna fit into my skinny jeans. I am going to fill in the blank with whatever it is that you wanna do. And then if you're like, man, I nailed it, and your confidence grows because you did everything in your power, working towards that goal, like you did everything in your power to get there, the end result doesn't really matter because you've just built your confidence to do it again and again and again. So if you don't get any sales this month, so what? You just keep on going. You just get on that track and you're like, choo-choo, I've got this. So you just keep moving forward. That's all this business is moving forward. Continually, consistently, those gritty, vital behaviors that are super boring and mundane, the ones that you're like, nobody's hearing me, nobody is looking at me, nobody sees me. You're like, no worries, Hakuna Matata. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going with it. And I almost said a bad word, but I didn't. I held it in. So you just keep moving forward. That's it. That's how you do this. I know it's not very glamorous, but I swear to you, it works. If you're consistent with it, you follow that tracker every day and you check in, right? So in our group, the new coach group, we are really using our trackers. I'm using my tracker. It doesn't stop. Like, I don't stop using my tracker just because I've been doing it for so long. I know I need accountability. It's the same way, like the same mindset of 2B mindset. Alana doesn't stop tracking. Why do I think I should? So, right? So you just keep moving forward. And then once you keep tracking, your tracking reveals your trends reveal your truth is what sets you free. And if you guys listen to the Make Sheep Happen podcast that Melanie and I do, I literally just talked about this on the last podcast episode. I'll share it in our page as well. So that's all I got. Anyone else have questions?
I do. Sure.
Maybe.
Hi.
Hi, Helen.
How are you? Okay. I am not frustrated, and I'm just seeking for a little bit of help on the thing with money. My process has been amazing. I have failed a lot of times, so I feel like really confident now because I can go through smoothly. So I'm to the point that I sent my form so they can pick the program and all the tools that they need, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they goes, but I go back and I re-engage. Hey, I haven't heard about you. And then I get this thing on the I have no money because I'm not working or whatever. Although I have sent a question, like, do you want to make a plan? So because I've been there, I was there once, and what I did is I saved money little by little, or I asked. But I finding myself on that a lot. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or if I should approach it in another way, because the whole process is going like smooth until that part.
So there's a couple things that I'm going to say.
The money part.
So I'm going to actually mute you because you're live.
I don't have money.
Okay. So I'm going to mute you.
I just need a little bit.
Where's it coming from? I think I'm catching what you're saying though. That was really
okay.
Weird. Okay. I think that's really weird. Okay. So a couple things that I would do. Number one, do you kind of give people an understanding, and this is just kind of a question you can keep sort of just swirl it around. Do you keep giving people sort of an understanding of what the cost is going to be, or is it just thrown out there? So for me, a lot of times I talk about investing $4 a day in my health. And so people have an understanding of like sort of what this is going to look like. The second thing that I would suggest is boldness. And that boldness is like something, and this sounds mean, but it makes people think, and they might reject you right now. But I often will say something like, I just want to make sure, are you serious about wanting to achieve said goals that they have put for themselves? Or are you just trying not to hurt my feelings? And then if they're like, no, it's really, really money. Okay, great. So why don't we just start putting a few dollars aside a day? I'm actually going to reach back out to you in 3 weeks. Sound like a plan? And then just like getting back to them. But then I also post on my grid or on my timeline about I do not ever feel bad about investing in my health. I have made it a priority, and every objection I get is simply an opportunity to write about it in the content that I create. So if somebody is saying to me, I don't have money, that is a great post about how can you start saving money for your health? How in the long haul does investing in a challenge group actually save you money? Guess what I started saving money on? Takeout, I didn't go. Those drive-thrus didn't go. When I would go to the meal or go to the grocery store, I had a freaking meal plan. So I wasn't going and throwing anything in the cart that I thought maybe I would use. I knew that I had a meal plan to follow. So when people give me those objections, I am like, okay, thank you. You just created my content for the day. And I use it. But I also think it's important for us to kind of give people that idea of what it's going to cost. and make sure that we're wording it in a way that people see like it is not expensive. Like if you really break this down, it is not expensive. I do not apologize for the price of which I can change somebody's life. I do not apologize for the fact that a woman this week went to my son's birthday party and gave me a huge hug because she's lost 18 pounds. I do not apologize for the fact that if you have invested in your health, I now can return the investment and make sure that I am supporting you. So when you say it with confidence, when they don't want to invest in themselves yet, you say, that's cool. I'll check back in with you in 3 weeks and we'll see how you're doing then. And chances are they're going to be exactly where they were 3 weeks ago. So it's boldness. It's boldness sometimes, and it's letting people know what it does cost, and it's not apologizing for that price, all right? So our goal this week, guys, in closing out this week, we're paying attention to our tracker. In our own lives too, in our own health and fitness journey, right? We are confidently closing the sales with at least 3 people this week. And we are going to get bold about how we talk to people using that method of clarifying question. I know how you feel. Here is what I felt that way too. Here is what I find. Another clarifying question at the end. And then we're going to make sure that our content is also addressing some of those objections that we get. All right? Okay, guys, it is 1 o'clock. I've taken an hour of your time, but I appreciate you guys being on here. Come back to this call if you guys get confused. You're like, I just need a little bit of like pump up, like fist bumping action. That's how we're going to get results. All right? Love you guys so much. Have a great day. And this is in that group, but I will also get this up as well, recorded. So, okay, that's all I got. Have a great day. Bye, guys.